Welcome to the How to Farm series. My name is Cole The Cornstar. I am a 26-year-old farmer who farms 2,000 acres of corn and soybeans. Over the next 365 days, I will be documenting everything that happens on Cornstar Farms in an effort to show what it takes to feed the world. If you wish to start this series from the beginning, watch my How to Farm playlist. In the last episode, I got started spraying. After plugging the sprayer with algae, I finished spraying Mount Everest and half of the field around the main heated shop. Once it got too windy to spray, Dad started planting our first soybean field. While Dad and I were getting the planter set up, my brother blew the rear main engine seal in our four-wheel drive Massey Ferguson Ford Gate 80 while he was running tillage. Up to this point, we are 10% done with soybean planting, 13% done spraying soybeans, and down our main tillage tractor. At the start of today, our season expenses so far are $918,260, and the farm has not produced any income yet. If you are new to the channel, subscribe to make sure you don't miss out on any of this series. Thank you for tuning in for the day, so let's get started. Buenos dias. Here's the plan for today. It's 9:30 in the morning. I had a little bit of office work I had to take care of. The way we kind of work on the farm, we prefer to work later at night and get up a little bit later in the morning. Some guys like to get up earlier and go to bed earlier. We're on the late end of the spectrum when it comes to that. But I got all my office stuff taken care of. Dad and Cooper got Dad's planter filled with seed. They had a little bit in the seed tender from last night. Dad said it was literally like a 1-gallon ice cream pail full of seed that we had left. So now the seed tender is completely empty. Dad's got about 10 acres of seed on him. He's got a 3.2 maturity soybean on him. So we're gonna get that ran off on the field around Dad's house here. He's gonna go up in the terraces. I'm gonna hop in the tractor here in a minute, help Dad get set up so that way we can get that planted correctly up there. Zach is off in the reel disc. He got that going this morning. And then Cooper's running around picking up stuff. We're on the bulldozer guys have been working along the edge of the creek down here. There's some sticks and little stumps and stuff on the edge that Cooper's going to get picked up. He is probably going to be run around guy today. And then I am going to go get the semi-trailer with the sprayer trailer here in just a minute and get the sprayer loaded up, and I'm gonna get started spraying. The Thunder Creek field trailer came in pretty handy this morning. They got the John Deere filled up with diesel, so Dad should have enough for the day, or more than enough. This tractor is actually decently fuel efficient. Either that or the other ones just burn so much fuel. This one's not fuel efficient, but it seems like it is because it doesn't use nearly as much as the others. But really pulling the planter, it's not that hard of a task on the tractor. Most of the time you're probably 65, 70% engine load, so it's nothing difficult for it. So I guess that helps too. I need to pull a file off of this monitor and put it in the new sprayer, so that way I can have all my guidance lines and stuff in there, as well as a boundary map. I sprayed 50 acres around the house yesterday, and the other monitor is not hooked up to Wi-Fi, so it's not going to get the sync download to it unless I put it on the USB stick. So I need to be able to see where I've been. That's one thing that's difficult about sprayers. Once it dries, you can't tell where you've been or not. Okay, it is time to fill the semi-trailer. Get all our valves opened up. We always fill the front first. Let this warm up for a minute. We'll throttle her up, suck her down faster. Now we're pushing water.
This tractor here, probably hard to see it, but it's a John Deere 4840, so it's about 180 horse tractor. But even this old tractor here, it's a 1981, we have Ag Leader as steady steer. And you know, this thing keeps me right on my line. And this unit here from Ag Leader is the brains of the whole unit. So I got a little line there, that's gonna keep me right on track. And then it tells me what the planter's doing, and it's slick. I really like it. But the auto steer is, you know, a lot of guys say your older tractors, you can't get auto steer. Talk to Ag Leader, they'll set you up. Yeah, let's see if we can get things started here. See, like right now, I am not touching that steering wheel. That's pretty darn nice. I wanted to say good morning to everybody. I kind of miss seeing you guys. It's been kind of busy lately, but it's just a neat honor to be able to jump back on Cole's channel here and say hi. And if you guys are ever floating around, jump over on Daddy Cornstar, check me out. I just kind of put some little fun stuff up and kind of have a little fun. The daughter's doing the editing and stuff on that, but it's a really little channel compared to Cole's, but still have fun on there and kind of my own little fun stuff. But speaking of fun stuff, I better jump on the trampoline, jump back on the tractor here and keep this thing rolling. Kind of see it back there. We're running a white 16-row planter. I still got the little containers. The boys are letting me have a little fun before they jump out in the field with a big planter. They'll be running the 24-row planter, and then they run circles around me, and they got the center filled and stuff. But I like the old school. It just makes me feel good. This is stuff my dad ran when we farmed together before he passed away. So it's just kind of my fun way to go out and have a little fun. And it shows too. This older equipment does a great job. It does. And I'm from the old school and I like my old equipment.
Okay, we are full of water. Turn on the air conditioning in here. Oh boy. One thing that's kind of nice right now, I cannot do any spraying until we get the ground real disc ahead of it, because all the ground is too rough to spray. Well, it's too rough to plant into, so we have to run the field finisher on it. And once the field finisher's on, then I can come in and spray. So right now, there's like a 120-acre buffer ahead of me of what has been worked, and I can spray that in like 2 hours. So I'm not really rushing around a ton this morning, just making sure everybody's lined up with everything they need, because I'm gonna be caught up to the real disc in no time anyway. But it's kind of nice, you can relax a little bit. Also, I'm super grateful for this wraparound driveway, because full semi, I'm pretty heavy right now, probably about 80,000 pounds. I can just cruise right through here, I'll get back up. Worry about getting stuck in the rock. I'm very grateful for a lot of things today. Actually, I'm grateful for a lot of things every day, but today in particular, it's just a beautiful day. It's supposed to be about 80 degrees. It is also Sunday, and I unfortunately did miss church this morning. I've not missed church in a long time. Typically, Neva and I try to make it with the boys every Sunday. Oh, it looks like Cooper's mowing the lawn. But during planting and harvest season, sometimes when we have weather coming, I just have to not go for that day so we can get work done. If it was just me, I wouldn't mind as much getting behind on some work, but when I got Dad and Cooper and Zach, Roman, everybody's counting on me to be here to get things done during crunch time, especially when we have a rain. Sometimes that's what I have to do. We got the sprayer trailer back down here. Everything looks like it's good to go. We're gonna get our ladder unfolded. I got my water stuff hooked up. I'm gonna fire up the mix mate so that can be loaded. I need to grab my tablet, and then I also need to get the GPS situated in the new sprayer. I like to close my tanks when I'm gone overnight, just in case a sealer or something were to give out, then we don't. Oh crap, I just opened the valve on this, and the top of the valve literally just popped off, and I have to hold it down with my finger, otherwise it gushes product everywhere. I have no idea if it's open or not. What the heck? Hey, can you come up here to the sprayer trailer and help me?
You can't push down and shut it by chance, or did it break?
It must have broke. I don't know if the valve opened or not, though, is the thing.
Could you just be leaking some of this back out of the line, maybe, or?
Well, it's dripping right now. It very well could be. I'm hoping the valve on this opened, because if it did, I can at least run and suck this tank down. But if it didn't open, I don't know what we're gonna do. This isn't exactly the stuff you want sitting on the edge of your yard, because it's a residual weed killer. So if it gets in the grass, it doesn't let anything new grow there. And it does a really good job. Like, nothing will grow there for like 2 years. Now we have a little bit of a risk, I suppose you could say. I've ran sprayer number 2. I ran water through it, got everything going, made sure everything was okay before I put any product in it. Problem is, the monitor that Dad is running in the planter for the 16-row is what I used in that sprayer. That monitor is configured for the sprayer. The monitor in this sprayer is not configured for that sprayer. They have different, this one has right spot on, it's every 15 inches there's a nozzle shut off. That sprayer has it every 15 feet. So I haven't ran any water through this. I should probably run some water through. I just don't want to leave this tank over here. I'll show you what happened. That green valve, I opened it, and when I opened it, it literally just popped straight off. And so product is gushing straight out of that. We got a zip tie around it holding it down right now. When you hold it down, it doesn't leak, but if you don't, it will literally fall off, and it's just like a garden hose that comes out of there. I just don't want to leave that tank sitting like that is the problem, because if that zip tie were to slip off, then I'd come back and there'd be $5,000 worth of product on the ground. And not a good product to have on the ground, because nothing's gonna grow over here for like 15 years. Oh boy. Not worried about it in the driveway, but when it rains, then it'll run down over into that grass. This is not ideal to say the least, but welcome to farming. I gotta put the GPS globe up on top of this. Ow, pinch my finger. Check the oil, see what we got. Are you kidding me? We got way too much oil in this. Do we have too much because it's full and we're pointed downhill, and so all the oil is running to the front of the engine, or is there legitimately too much oil in it? I'm gonna go with we are on, it is towards the fuller end and we are pointed downhill. We are not level right here. I don't have much choice, I guess, but to run it and get it on a flat spot. One thing Jordan, the Hickey mechanic, did say that was not ready on this sprayer was it needed about 3 cans of Freon in it for the air conditioner. So my air conditioning is not going to work very good. And it's 80 degrees out in a giant glass box. We'll be all right. I did put a little bit of antifreeze in it while I was back there. Just looked maybe a hair low. I could see it just fine, but I topped it off. The sprayer has a tendency to run a little bit hotter than the other sprayer. So I don't know if a little bit overran out at some point. That's why it's a little lower, but I just wanted to make sure that we were plenty good on antifreeze. So I'm gonna turn this monitor on here. Check my tank, make sure it's not leaking on the semi-trailer. Looks like we're okay. I guess while this is doing its thing, we can pull over to the semi-trailer and get everything hooked up and get some water on this.
Well, if you look here off in the distance, I see some big LSW Titan tires coming down the road. That is Zach. He's going off to a different field now. But wow, them LSW tires look huge.
I'm gonna do just what I did with the other sprayer, and we're gonna put just 100 gallons of water in this. We're gonna run it, make sure everything's going, then we'll put product in it.
Sounds like between Cooper and Zach, they're gonna try to keep the reel disc going. They're talking a good chance of rain in a couple days, so if we can get all the ground worked up, smoothed out from chiseling last year, that's the reason we're having the reel disc to get the ground smoothed out. Try to get it done because if we get some rain, it'll dry out quicker where we can get out there and start planting or running the sprayers versus trying to do tillage. I keep looking, kind of the Woody Pecker talk today. My tongue is going faster than my lips are going faster than my tongue, but we're just trying to keep things buzzing. And I'm getting hungry already. Mama Cornstar is off seeing her dad this weekend, and then Neva just took off to go to see her folks. So hopefully one of us here today can run in and get lunch. What? Oh, I better get a couple boxes running out of seed. Ooh.
I got 5,000 gallons of water on here and I have an airlock. Are you kidding me? Super annoying. Sometimes you gotta crack these valves. There gets a little bit of air in there. Let's try it again, I guess. What the? I'm getting angry. How are you now leaking? I just opened you. Figured it out. I guess if there is a valve shut on the bottom of the sprayer, it will not let product in. Sorry for yelling at you, sprayer. Let's try this again. There, now everything works. Literally a solid 15 degrees hotter inside of here than it is outside. It feels kind of nice outside. Okay, we gotta do another update. We're gonna let that update while we're driving out into the field. We'll get stuff kind of opened up, turned on. We have the sprayer going now. I'm going to try to kick everything on, and I'm hoping that valve on that broken tote is open right now. So that way we can actually suck it down and get it empty. If it's not, I really am not sure what we are going to do. Put my finger right up on the water line, and then as I'm watching it suck down, I can see it's making a gap between my finger and the line, so that's how I know it's open. Turn the sprayer one off first. Now the hose one. Sprayer's full. We are ready to go spray. Well, kind of. I just realized I need a different monitor for a minute. I'm gonna steal your monitor to finish spraying the last 25 acres here.
Oh yeah, since you guys are already on.
Yeah, I plugged the USB stick in, but the file for what you have mapped doesn't transfer over via USB stick, but it does via satellite. We just don't have the satellite thing hooked up.
Oh, okay, okay.
So I'm just gonna steal your monitor, finish spraying, so you're not gonna be able to plant until I get done here.
Yeah.
For whatever reason, this is the monitor that I use to spray the field around the house. And when I ran out and it got windy, then I put this in the tractor so Dad could get planting. My map of what has been sprayed is not transferring via USB stick. And so I downloaded all the files from this. I went to go plug it in the monitor that's in the sprayer, and my map is not there at all. So I don't know what's been sprayed and what hasn't. I don't want to spray stuff again if it doesn't need it. So Dad is filling up with seed right now. It's going to take him about 20 minutes. Cooper's bringing lunch. It's also going to take Dad about 20 minutes to eat lunch. So I think I can get done spraying this 25 acres over the next 40 minutes. So I'm simply just going to rob Dad's monitor for the time being, but I have to take it all apart again after I just got this thing all wedged in here. I can't just swap the one in the sprayer into here either, because Dad's already got planting lines in this, and those I'm sure won't transfer over as well. See what I mean? I need the green part. That's the area that I've already done, and then the gray has not been done. So how am I supposed to know what's been done when the field literally looks like that? You can't tell. So this is extremely important. So that's all I got left up there on the terraces, and then a little bit right here, which is right next to us. DUN. Done. We got the monitor and the sprayer hooked back up. We are now ready to go spray the Hanson farm. This is like 77 acres over here. I have just over half a tank on me, so I am gonna have to fill one more time. And then I'm going to go over to the field behind my house, which is where Zach is currently working up ground.
You know, this is one nice thing about farming, in our case here where we're planting. Some jobs, you end up hours and hours and hours away from home during your day. You know, like truckers, they may be 10, 12, 14, 16 hours away from home. Now, we may spend 16 hours in the field or however many hours a day. My home's right there. I can sit and try to drive around home. Most of our fields are pretty close to home, so we may be out long days, but we know a skip and a hop, we're at home. So it's kind of funny, when I take a road trip somewhere and I go 2 hours away from home, it seems like a long ways away. But when I'm out in the field for 2 hours, it doesn't seem like nothing. Well, we're running the planter. I ain't gonna say anything, but so far, getting used to everything again and just not pushing it too fast. Right now we're doing about 4.5 miles per hour. Just kind of letting my nose itches. I don't think I got fleas. I don't think I got powder stuck in my nose. Why would I have powder stuck in my nose? I haven't even ate a donut. I haven't had a donut for a while. Well, just kind of giving you an update what I'm doing. Bouncing around the field.
We have 39.8 acres done over here. I'm just kind of getting everything outlined up right now. There's a fair few bits of waterways here. So I got just a little bit of long growth stuff left, a couple things to outline. So we're making good progress. I just got empty. We're gonna go fill up again. Dad's right across the creek on the field around his house. So that's Everest in the background. And then the field around Dad's house, that's the main hidden shop right there. So it goes all the way up to the top of the hill where that house is, then borders the gravel road. And then we have the creek line right beside us. So I'm sitting on the Hanson farm, and then Bush farm is right over there. right across that creek line, sitting just below the horizon. So Dad's gonna get this field done. He's probably got 30 acres left. He's all in the straight rows now. Once he gets this outside pass along the creek, he'll do it down, he'll do it back, and then do one more down along the creek line. Then once that's done, it'll be nice straight long rows over there, and then he will have the field around his house done. And then we will be going underneath that wind turbine right there, which is where my house is, and that is the farm that we call Grandpa's. So that's kind of the plan. This should be one of our last loads, at least for a little while, because Zach's gonna have to get ahead of me by a little way over at Grandpa's farm with the field finished here. But I'm gonna be able to get Hanson Farm all done, and I'll have about half a tank by the time I get that done. So I'll at least be primed and ready to go for when Zach is ready for me. I'm not gonna stand right here, I'm getting dripped on. Pretty common to get a pretty bad sunburn doing the job I'm doing right now. You spend a fair amount of time standing on this trailer. It used to get a lot worse of a sunburn before we had the mix mate, because it was like 25, 30 minutes of fill to get everything on. Now it's like 5, so you don't get as bad of a sunburn, but you still get one. I'm already cooking. Today is my first day in the field running the Goodyear R14Ts. These are their new 650 wide tires with more of a road tread design, but nice fat, so they got good flotation in the field. The purpose of them was if you're doing a lot of road travel, you're not wearing your tires out as fast, but you're not sacrificing performance having these be out in the field. We have the normal 650 floats, and now these, I believe these are the only 4 in the world right now that are actually in the field on a production farm. They literally just released them, but doing my first load with them, I'd say I noticed a difference. Now, when I notice a difference, it's probably like a 3% difference, and it could very well be psychological, but they feel really smooth to me. The other floats feel really smooth too, but I will say the footprint that these look like they're leaving seems to be not quite as deep. The other ones is still a nice wide footprint, but these, it's like you're looking and you're not obviously saying like, oh, there's a set of tracks there. It's more like, okay, like, yeah, I can kind of see a little indent, but it's kind of hard to tell. So I've been really impressed with them so far, but we're gonna keep running them and we'll get more feedback. That's just my first 65 acres with them. It's definitely much toastier in the cab than it is outside. It's actually really nice outside. Okay, 37 acres to go, and then we'll head down the road to Grandpa's.
You know, when you're sitting here looking at the monitor and stuff, you're just kind of analyzing everything, but then in your head you're always kind of thinking, is everything working right? Because you know, you can't look out and just see the seeds in the ground. That's why we get out and dig around and get down and measure and check things. I've done that a few times today. But you always worry, what if the monitor is telling you everything's working, but maybe something's not working right? That's where you got to take trust in the like ag leader here. You take trust and can't worry about it. But you still, with your own eyes, you want to be checking things out, making sure everything's looking good. And that's one thing I like about this old tractor here, having auto steer. Before we put this in, I thought, oh, I can steer just fine. But I had a relative come down one time, and then he was planting out there, and he had all the auto steer and everything, and kind of woke me up, like, wow. You know, like now, last night, I worked till almost midnight. My eyes weren't burning, trying to see where everything's at, where my mark is from the planter. I can just sit back, talk to you guys. Oh boy, can't lie though, thinking about French fries for some reason. I don't know why, because French fries would make me thirsty, but I am thinking French fries.
Hanson Farm is D-U-N. And before I can jump over to Grandpa's farm and start spraying over there, these are the little module, there's a little piston plunger thing in there that the electricity from the sprayer goes to that, and that's what controls the flow into each of my individual nozzles. That's how I have individual nozzle shutoffs on this sprayer. This is the right spot unit. For whatever reason, I have 2 rows that are not showing up on the computer, So I have 2 spots where I have a 30-inch spacing on my nozzles instead of a 15. So before I continue on, I'm going to try to put these new ones on, and then hopefully that fixes that issue. I actually have a third one that's not responding, but that one has spray coming out of it. However that's working, I don't know. But if I can at least get the 2, my one that is not responding but working is on the very end. So if I absolutely have to, I can just shorten up my span. Instead of being 90 feet, I can go 89, and then I'd just be overlapping that spot every pass around, and I'd just be losing 1 foot of efficiency. But since these ones are kind of more in the middle, I would like to address them, and I need to figure out how they work. I think it's just a screw-in piece, and then a plug, probably redo a zip tie or 2. We'll give it a shot. All of the technology on this equipment is super handy when it works, but when it doesn't, it makes you want to pull your hair out sometimes. At least with what I'm doing on the sprayer right now, like, yeah, I would like to have those nozzles going, but will you be able to tell the difference in the little bit that I did without those 3 nozzles, or without those 2? Probably not. What's helping us right now is like a 9-mile-an-hour breeze, so it's kind of mixing all the spray as we drop it. So the spray is not really falling straight down, it's more getting crossed over, so we should be fine, but I do want to fix it before we continue. I think this is the one right here that I need. So I'm just gonna try unplugging this and then unscrewing it, and I hope that works. Oh boy. I'll have to get a pair of pliers. I think I got it. Oh. Alright, let's give that a try. We're going to try cycling power, bring this out into the field, and we are going to see if this now works. I really hope it does. Otherwise I have to call Pete Youngblood, and he's going to have to come out. Which I like Pete, but if I don't have to see him during the middle of the season to fix something, I'm not very offended. We have GPS signal. Ooh. Direct command L2 and nozzle mismatch found 72, expected 73. So that means the 2 we just put on, we had 70 before, now we have 72. So they should work. And then the one we know at the very end, that one was still spraying, but it wasn't recognizing it on the machine. So I'm hoping that's the one. We're gonna find out. Gotta be fast. Okay, it's on. We got stuff coming out over there, that side. Let's go take a look. Okay, that one's working. 2, 3, 4. That was the one we just fixed. Okay, looks like it's spitting out. Where was the other one? Put a mark on it. There we go. Okay, perfect. What do we got going here? Why are you working? My monitor was not beeping at me with this guy, but looking down in there, looks like there could maybe be a chunk of crud. So I'm gonna try to find a needle or something to stick down in that hole. Try not to break it here. But there's just tiny little holes in the bottom that the product comes through. There's those little holes. So I wonder if maybe that bottom hole's plugged and it's making an airlock, so it's not letting any product get down in there. So I'm gonna try that, hopefully, because my monitor's not saying anything, so otherwise I don't know what's wrong. Oh hey, how did that water get all over my leg, sprayer? I haven't shown it because I'm getting downright mad at the sprayer right now, but washed my face 3 times, and now I'm going to change my pants and I gotta wash my leg. We got gray pants now, and we're gonna try this again. I took the one that was not coming out right in there, and I took it off, and I put it on the very end one, and then I took the end one and I put it right there. So we're gonna see how this works. I think everything's working now. It's a little hard to tell on camera, but it looks like the end one's not working, which not the end of the world, we can just overlap, but looks like that one is working. I must have forgot to hit record, but I just got off the phone with Pete Youngblood with Youngblood Ag, and he is 50 minutes away. He's going to be coming out. We think one of the solenoids is bad, so I'm gonna have him bring 2, so that way we have 1 extra one. We'll fix the solenoid, and then he thinks there's an item called a VCM. I don't know what that stands for, but on the one that we just noticed being bad, we think the VCM's out on that one, because I flipped the solenoids on the one that I knew was working onto that one, and it still was not working. And then the one that the VCM was bad on that I moved to the end, that one's also not working. So it leads me to believe the VCM and the solenoid were potentially both not working. So we got some parts coming. And Dad is on his very last pass of the field over here at his house, or it appears to be his last pass. So we will be heading over to Grandpa's next. It's sort of frustrating with days like today because I've been in the sprayer for like 9 hours. This machine has the capabilities of doing 100 acres per hour, and I have done 120 acres in 9 hours. So whatever that comes out to, like 12 acres an hour or something like that. 14 acres an hour. We're not running very efficient. So if I'm not mistaken, this is the VCM, this little box. This wire here, if I follow it all along this whole snake, it takes me right here. That's the one that's not working. And then it's kind of interestingly enough, if you follow this wire that is connected to the main one, and then follow it down, the next spot it connects to is right here. I made a little mark on it. That's my one that was not working before, which is working now. And then I had one down there, which is, it wasn't working, now it's working when we put the new one on. So those two got fixed. But this one right here, for whatever reason, it's just not turning on. How are you doing, Pete?
Oh, we're hanging in there.
Why do they call you Pete if your real name is William?
I don't know. I don't know.
But I got everything loaded up if you want to see it with your own eyeballs. Well, that's interesting now, because before it was just one end one. And it says 72 of 73 are responding. Good news is Pete flipped out the VCM controller box. That was our problem. So we went through 2 more solenoids and we just basically put new ones on, and it was the box. So we got the box fixed. Sprayer is running now. I was sitting there thinking, I wonder how the fuel is on the sprayer. I literally had 5 gallons left. So I'm gonna run and get the fuel trailer here and fill up the sprayer so that is 100% ready to go in the morning. I do not know what I am going to do about that tote that is on the trailer that has the broken valve that is currently being held on with the zip tie. It's held all day with the zip tie. I mean, really not even hardly a drop has came out of it. Kind of tempted just to leave it overnight. The only problem is if it goes during the middle of the night, it's gonna empty itself out in about 10 minutes. And that would be a $5,000 spill and all that grass and stuff not growing over there. So that's what's got me not wanting to leave it. The only thing is, I'm concerned if I move it, something is going to break to the point where I'm not gonna be able to stop it at all. And then what do I do? Then it's for sure gonna run out on the ground. Or if I am able to somehow get 70 gallons of product turned sideways, get it onto the telehandler and tip the tote back, I'm gonna have to have that tote like 25 feet in the air to have it at the angle where none of it is going out the valve on the bottom. I guess you could look at it as, well, you could get it up a ways, and then if some does spill, it's not gonna be as much as the whole thing. Yes, there's that, but then there's the other issue of how do you empty it out into the other tote then? So I think I'm just gonna have to leave it. I really don't know what else to do. Let's see, where is the fuel trailer? What is this? I say, what is that? Because I knew Cooper and Zach bought a sweep at an auction the other day, but I didn't realize it was that big. We had a bunch of rocks and stuff that were in the grass and in the alfalfa fields from the snow blower over the winter time. It would pick them up since the rocks were not froze down when we got our snow. Then it chucked them out into the field. So they got that big old sweep so that way they could push all the rock back into the driveway without damaging the alfalfa field or without damaging the grass. So I mean, this thing's kind of cool. I think Cooper used it a little bit here on the floor, it looks like. There's a big old clean area in the middle. That's probably why the skid loader's all dusty. So I guess we got a new thing on the farm, but that thing's big. Yeah, and honestly, probably not the best idea just to push it right outside the door. You can see the skid loader tracks right there, but then you got like ½ an inch of dirt. So that's just gonna turn the driveway to mud if we're just gonna be throwing dust on top of the rock. Got the fuel trailer over there. We will fill the sprayer probably in the morning now that I think about it, because Dad just called and he is out of seed. So I'm gonna bring the seed tender out to him out in the field. Dad had about half of a Pro Box left on the seed tender, so that is now completely empty. Dad can do probably 15, 16 acres with what we put on him. So I'm gonna take the 2 empty boxes off. I'm gonna talk to Cooper, figure out what seed he wants. That's one of the fields Cooper is managing the seed on, so I just wanna make sure it's the one that he wants. So it's gonna be one of these ones behind me. It's what time is it? 10:36. Zach is just leaving. He's been running the reel disc all day. He's been kind of fighting a bunch of stuff from the sounds of it. And he sounds kind of sick right now too. He doesn't sound very good. But he said he's rocking about a quarter tank of fuel. The sprayer has 5 gallons of fuel in it. So we're gonna be putting like 135 gallons in the sprayer. The 340 can hold like 250 gallons. He said the fuel trailer earlier was at half a tank, so 500 gallons is half the fuel trailer. The barrels here are empty. Sounds like Cooper went to go run a 45-foot field finisher for a neighbor because they're going to bring that field finisher over here tomorrow. So Cooper's getting them done, so that way they're completely done using it. Then we're gonna use it. We have 80 acres of ground that we tried plowing last year, and I guess that is not smoothing out very well at all with the reel disc or the high-speed disc. So they are going to use that neighbor's. It's got cultivators on it that will help drag and level things out. So Cooper said he's got like 4 or 5 more hours over there. And when he gets here, we don't know what the status of the fuel of that tractor is going to be. That's got a really big tank on it. So I'm kind of debating how we want to go about fueling stuff up. Maybe we just fuel things halfway so we can at least get running. And then when fuel comes, which is supposed to come tomorrow, then we can keep going. So when it's not something broken, it's fuel.
It's about 11:30 p.m. I had just texted Cole and said I'm going to probably be running out of seed here in the next 15 minutes. So why don't we call it a night once I get this empty? Time we get things shut off, get home, it's going to be midnight. Then we got to eat supper yet, take a shower. I am getting hungry. I don't know why. Because it's been a long time, 12 hours. I need to bring some little healthy snacks out here.
See what we got in this fuel trailer for fuel. Hopefully it's more than half. We are right at half. Oh boy. Okay, I'm just gonna put like half a tank in the sprayer then, so that way the tillage tractors have plenty, because I'm not gonna burn a half a tank tomorrow on what they're gonna have ready for me to spray. So we'll do that. Turn the gas on. We're gonna go with that. I probably put 60, 70 gallons in. Then we're at sitting probably 400 gallons in the fuel trailer right now. So if I can put 150 or so in the 340, so Zach will have that to run. He sounds like he's gonna get started at 6 o'clock in the morning. And then we should have the rest for Cooper and the big tractors to just keep everybody running at least long enough until we get more fuel. Dad just texted. He ran the planter empty. He's got about 40 some, low 40 acres done over here on Hanson Farm, and he's ready to call it a night. And then I hopped back in the fuel trailer. I am going to put about 150 gallons of diesel in the 340, so Zach will have this ready in the morning. Just getting back into the shop. It is just after midnight. We have 200 acres planted. 230 acres has been sprayed, so we have a 30-acre buffer ahead of the planter. There's about 70 acres that's worked ahead of the sprayer, so we have 300 acres worked up. Cooper's still running out for the neighbor right now. He's gonna get the neighbor done, so then they are completely done with their spring tillage, so we can use their tractor. So Cooper's still running. I'm just over a 16-hour day right now. Zach got started before me. He left a little bit ago, so he had a 16-hour day. Dad had a 16-hour day. So we're probably looking at 70 total man hours for the day for the whole crew. So we spent $1,400 today on labor. We had Jordan, the Heggie mechanic, out, so whatever his bill is and whatever the parts were that he put on, and then Pete came out and whatever the parts were that Pete had. I don't know how much diesel fuel we used today. I think that's all we had for I really don't remember. I'm tired and kind of spacing out a little bit. But we'll get the bill at the end of the month when we get all of our canceled checks here at the bank, and we will be able to reconcile everything. But we made no money today.